Hello, my name is Paul Gannon, and this is an extra special Geek Night Out Extra. Special. Hello, get comfy, it's time for another Geek Night Out Extra, and this is a very special extra because today it's just a podcast about me interviewing the creator of Adult Swim TV show and my favourite thing in the world, the Venture Brothers. The man is called Jackson Publick, and it's also the 14th of September when this is going out, and the 14th of September is his birthday. Yay! Happy birthday! It's also my birthday. No one gives a shit. So I had this long interview with Jackson Publick, talking lots about the Venture Brothers, obviously, and that's going up on our website, which will be going out in bits over the next few days. But I thought for this podcast, what I'd do is wrestle out the stuff we didn't talk about, which was Venture Brother based, and talk about what we like, and our things, and whatever was on our mind. Basically, they call it Shooting the Breeze. There are 3 segments. First segment I'm going to lead into starts with the subject of the Season 4 finale, which used a Pulp song called Like a Friend, and I decided to bring that up and basically get talking about Pulp. And this is part 1 of that chat. Well, there was one thing I was going to bring up, and it's one of those episodes where, as a fan, when you're watching it, you think, "Oh my god, a show for me," kind of thing. And it was funny enough. It was the last episode of the recent series where you have everything kicking off with the prom, and then the Pulp song kicks in at the end, and it was just.
Did that work?
For me, it worked perfectly. It was just one of those because it not only wasn't. It was a B-side. It wasn't as if it was one of their major songs. It wasn't like common people.
It is to me though.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? And that's what I kind of read. It's like he likes that song that no one's probably heard of either because everyone just likes common people or the usual stuff. And here's one. So why did you go about? I mean, because obviously you're a Pulp fan. Because I got this situation where I could either gig this weekend or go see Pulp, and I kind of need the money, so I gigged. And it broke my heart because the last
poor
time
bastard, that was a great show.
Well, this thing, the last time I saw them was 95 Glastonbury.
Oh wow.
Just when they were making it big and the whole Ease and Whiz thing, and it was the only festival I've ever been to because after that I'm not a big fan of tents and shit. So I remember it being that my most potent thing. So it galled me that I missed it, but. Again, Pulp's one of these kind of little secret pleasures or something that, even though they've been popular, it's like no one ever really understands that.
Yeah.
There's so much more they've got going on. So, sorry, I'll rephrase that. Basically, when it came to why did you use the Pulp song? Basically, what it comes down to, other than being a fan.
Well, from just the most objective point of view, like we wanted to license at least one real song. First of all, because it was a prom episode, and we have at proms. You're playing pop songs, you have a DJ and stuff like that. And so, we had to stick to just sound alike Turner Library songs throughout the whole thing, but we wanted to, nail it with one at the end so that you just felt like it was real or something like that. And then that song, we love Pulp, and that song in particular, it just has the right mix of melancholy and octane, because it kicks into high gear at the end. It was perfect for us because it's, we're starting a scene with, the prom king and queen dancing that then goes into the scene where 2 warring lovers finally part after, all these years of just fucking each other. Brock and Molotov. And then it's got to go into the big action finish. And I don't know about you, but when I hear songs, they're a soundtrack for something in my head. A lot. I have a very, I have a cinematic response to a lot of music, and that's one of those songs that does that for me. And both of us, I think, write to music most of the time. I have a hard time writing to pop songs actually because they're distracting. And I think a steady beat is distracting in a lot of ways. Like I'll listen to a lot of movie scores and like Dead Can Dance and stuff like that when I write.
It's more like a mood thing.
Yeah. It can mess you up. It can make things a little too serious and dramatic or
and then you're wondering why you've written a scene that looks like it's about to open the Ark of the Covenant, and you think,
exactly.
Where have I heard that?
Maybe that's not the right vibe for this scene.
So did the song dictate the pace of the way that was animated, or did it?
Yes, I did cut it to that, but I knew it would work. I could see how that would play out in my head, and I could see, that when he kicks in at the end, that's got to be that moment of, Brock going, shit, I got to run back to So I did. We did have to recut the song to make it work, because the fast part at the end, the rock part at the end, was too long for what we.
Okay.
Because we also had a very long episode. We had to cut maybe 4 or 5 minutes of material out of it while we were, before we animated it. Even that's what sucks about animation, is like there's no coverage, there's no shooting stuff that you
just got to pray it all either gets in or the stuff you leave out.
Yeah, I mean, we still end up trimming after animation, but we do. We have a hard 22 minutes that we're allowed to animate, so we can't go over that. In this case, it was 44 minutes because it was an hour special. But yeah, I cut the animatic to that song, so I put the cuts on beats, and I think we had to extend the slow part to cover the Brock and Molotov scene. Yeah, and we had to shorten the rock part.
I mean,
because we couldn't have Brock running down a mountain for 2 minutes.
No, exactly.
I would have loved to, though.
Yeah. But again, because you don't want to, ruin the sanctity of that song. You don't want to meddle with it the way you can. But just from my point of view, it was just one of those episodes. It was one of those moments where it was like a tingle almost, just because it just worked so well.
I'm so glad to hear it, because I get that from that. Once we've had maybe 3 tingles on this show, I think, in 4 seasons, and that's the hope that and that's the crazy place we've gone to. I think that I'm very proud of. From season 1, where we were just maybe just trying to be postmodern and make snarky jokes about Marvel Comics or something like that, to something where we can actually make you care about these characters. We can manipulate your emotions. I feel like as a filmmaker that I've grown in that way, and maybe a song is an easy way to do it, but it's not something you see in comedy cartoons very much.
No,
so
but there's
super proud of that.
There's a delicate balance, because people throw in songs great example, Charlie's Angels. They throw in song 2 because for some reason that will add energy to the scene. And I think what was nice about the way you used that pub song was that there's a sense of the beginning of the song's got a sense of loss to it, and we go next, but there's that.
And the lyrics to that song are perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
They're exactly what we're about. They're just these regrettable friendships. Obviously he's describing a rotten history with somebody, and yet kind of how much he needs them and what he loves about them, but how much they suck for him. It's one of those great songs. I mean,
it's one of those things that you can't do that kind of thing too often anyway, no matter what kind of show you make. So you've got to make sure that it pays off when you do use it. Otherwise, you're just keeping pretty much the intent of why you use that kind of stuff. We did you run it past Pulp? Did you get any feedback from Jonas about?
I wish. No, I don't know. I don't know if they even know we exist. I don't know if that's just the record label goes, sure, money, all right. Yeah. I know it was maybe the easiest song to get, because we try every year to get something. We always have these wish scenes, and we've lost a few. We've really only licensed one other song. We've done some pre-existing music thing. We've done some classical and stuff like that. But the only other song we ever licensed and paid for was "Everybody's Free." Yeah. Which opened season 2. Which I think was pretty triumphant too.
Yeah, that's
because it costs a lot of money, and we've always been a pretty low budget show. But this was, and I got shot down on 2 other things over the course of that season. We are both real pop music lovers, and like I said, we just have a relationship with music. I see pictures in my head, and I just love songs so much. I want to put songs in every episode, and sometimes I write scenes with songs in mind. And I couldn't get a Band of Bees song one year.
Right.
That I wanted to end the Invisible Hand of Fate episode with a Band of Bees song, and it cost way too much. And they have no presence in the United States. But I don't know how big they are here.
I know of them personally, but my music taste stops at I think about 2000. I haven't looked back.
was this great retro. The first time I heard it, I thought it was a song I had never heard from 1969 or something, and it was pretty new, and it was a good. It sounded authentic. It was a kind of flashbacky episode. It was a sort of winsome rock thing that was good for montage, and we couldn't get that. And then a friend of mine said, well, I'm friends with Neil Innes. You want to try one of his songs if you're going for a kind of, 70s rock thing or something, And I said, sure, and I listened to a bunch of his songs, and I went, oh, this one's really good. This will work. And we kind of recut the animatic to that. I was like, oh, this will work. And then we couldn't get that either because his record, despite the fact that he was like, oh yeah, sure. It was like his record label or the publisher, just wanted $40,000 or something. Like it was just something that's unbearably expensive for just using one song in a show when that's way more than the budget to create original music. Which is kind of insulting to our composer, I think. It only works when he loves the song too, and he goes, "Oh yeah, you guys got to use that." So it's always disappointing. For whatever reason, the Pulp song was reasonably priced, and they were very easy to work with, whoever they're with.
Definitely worth it, anyway. So.
Yeah.
Right, that's part one, done and dusted. On to part two. Now, we begin part two by talking a little bit more about London as an experience of London and meeting Pulp. So we start there, but it goes via the way of talking about hidden tracks on songs and also the perils of longboarding. And I think the C word is used in this clip. If it does, I apologise. But through gritted teeth.
I can only be so clever with old questions after 4 days of drinking and an hour of like sweaty, panicky trying to navigate the tube.
Oh yeah, that's always fun.
Yeah,
because if it ever
you have a lot of little streets in this town. I'll say it.
Yeah,
you have no grid, and it is impossible to gauge distance from any map.
Yeah, don't use the tube as a distance guide.
Oh yeah, no, that one I learned that one very quickly. Like, oh no, we can't go to that station; it's really far away. And then you look at the real map; oh, it's right next to it. Whereas another one that seems like it's one stop. How far could it be? 5 blocks? Oh no, it's about a half a mile.
So you spend most of the time navigating London trying to get around it.
Yeah,
I think everyone who moves to London has that whole year of getting to know.
Well, yeah, and the little streets won't be on the map, and yeah, so certain things where I'm like, oh, that looks like about a 5-minute walk. I'm walking and I'm like, where is that road? Is it way further than it looked on the map? And I look back at the map and I've passed it by like 3 major avenues. How I didn't even see it. How did that happen? Even walking here, I was told, all right, make a right at Princedale Road, and your second left is Prince's place.
Yeah.
The second left was Prince's
Lane, I think,
Court or something
Mews,
like that, and I walked into an alleyway, basically a dead end. And this is not. I don't see white gates. I don't see any numbers high enough to be this address. And I was like, do you mean? Is it way further than you're saying? Is it really the fourth left, and you don't count those because they're not roads to you? And,
well,
yeah.
Maybe it's likely. It's really likely.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
that seems. I don't know. Streetist. Is there a word for that?
Well, it also doesn't help that all the streets in London aren't very well signposted, and they're all very similar names in a certain area, like Prince Street, Princeton.
And I had to ask 3 people at the Starbucks, which is only 2 blocks from here, by the way, right outside the tube station. Where's? I knew enough not to say where's Prince's Lane or whatever one, and I was like, where's Princedale Road? Because it was obviously a bigger one, and none of them knew. They work 2 blocks from each other.
Yeah.
So
never ask anyone who works in a shop in London for directions, because by and large they live 15 miles away.
Yeah. So, I've learned that. I've also learned just no matter how concise my question is, because I'm usually if I deign to ask a stranger any information, I want something very specific, and I know what I want, and I know all the information I need to know around it. So it's just, which way is the St. Paul's tube station? Where is the entrance to the St. Paul's tube station? That's all I needed to know. I knew which train I needed to get on to get here, what stop I had to get off. But every time I've asked somebody for a piece of information like that, they're too helpful. They want to know about the rest of my day. They're like, well, where are you going? And I'm like, well, I'm going to, and I actually forgot the name of this neighborhood, but I knew it was like right past Kensington. So I'm like, going to Kensington. I'm just trying to keep the conversation brief. And then, oh no, well you're gonna have to switch trains. And I'm like, hey, just please tell me where the station is.
That's because I think everyone thinks they've got a secret code to getting through London. Everyone has.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to?
And that happened to me at the concert. It was there was a VIP area, and a friend of mine was supposedly in there, and I didn't know if I had the right pass to get in there or not because I hadn't tried yet. And so that's all I wanted to know. Am I allowed in there with this pass? No. And then came the question, what can I help you with? Oh, no, it's okay. A friend of mine's in there. Oh, well, what does he look like? No, it's all right. I'll text him. That's
actually quite a British response to things.
A purple-haired girl. No, I saw a pink-haired girl. And it's okay, really. Thank you.
Yeah, when you got that much choice, you're not getting any information back out of it. Yeah. So did you get to see Paul? I mean, did you actually literally get to meet the band afterwards, or it was one of those kind of, you'd like to go in a bit of a wallflower situation?
Yes and no. Here's what I went to. It wasn't that kind of VIP area. It was just if you pay £100 extra, you get a barbecue and a bar and private bathrooms. So it was the Barclays whatever special deal. And they may have thrown the word VIP around, but it had nothing to do with like a backstage pass or anything like that. Pardon me. So I watched the show, but I did get to go, thanks to somebody at Adult Swim, to the after party. Like she knew where it was, and she got us in, and the band was there. Surprisingly enough, the band was there, and Jarvis walked by me, and I was able to at least just go, thank you for a wonderful show, and he kept walking, and I got to talk to the drummer for a moment.
Nice.
Yeah. So that was just to go to an after party and see like the guy that that you came to see that's pretty special for me.
It's literally that brush with greatness idea, It's like
I would love to sit down and talk to the guy, but I'm nobody to him, and he probably doesn't know that we used this song in our show.
I think it's something you should definitely follow.
So I think were we in a quiet place and stuck talking to each other, I'd be able to make that work. But I don't know how to approach people, and I don't feel entitled to impose on them.
But as a result, you can now go back and just say to everyone that you did meet and had a great time.
Yeah, no, I'll do that. I'll do the hell out of that when I get back to America. Yeah, I met Jarvis. He was cool.
Yeah, he was alright. Not all that. Bit above himself. I remember a friend of mine sent me a clip. Was it a B-side he sent? It was just like when he brought his first solo album out. Mm-hmm. The B-sides to that were really weird. I don't know if you ever heard any of them, but one was just a Grimm's fairy tale that the track was just him reading a fake story out.
Oh no!
And it was
I didn't know there were B-sides. I never saw singles or anything like that.
Yeah, well, it was because the first album was kind of released on a small label, and I think it did all right.
I mean, the hidden song was, or the whatever.
Yeah,
that's the best one.
Yeah, I mean, you do have to wait 30 minutes of blankness. Yeah. I miss that about albums. Secret tracks.
I do not. I've never liked that about. Yes, to this day. iTunes has even made it worse because now one of those horrible things will come up when you're on shuffle and you forgot that there's a stupid Dandy Warhol song that's like 10 minutes of silence and then feedback and weirdness, and you're like, oh, you sons of... Or Beck will do that a lot too.
Oh yeah, Beck will do that.
And you're just fuck you, get off of my iTunes. And I don't know how to edit it out. At least the Jarvis song. I got a friend of mine to edit out the first and re-import the MP3. So nice. I just have the cunt song.
Yeah, I remember. There was something similar. What was it? Come on, brain work. No, I think it's going to give up on it. It's fine. It was something along those lines anyway. But I've always been a big fan of the secret tracks. It's always like someone giving you a little bit different, providing you patience. You can work through. It's like Eels.
I think probably when I was younger, I really appreciated it.
Yeah.
Now I live in a fast-paced world, and
you're
messing up my iPod. Yeah, I have no time to wait 7 minutes. I don't even know song titles anymore. It's sad. I don't know song titles. I don't know the members of the bands. I just don't laze about and read giant liner notes anymore. I miss that. It's that obsession.
Yeah.
With anything that I miss about being younger and less busy and more excited about everything because I don't know anything.
Yeah, the cynicism eventually just breaks down the open.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again,
this is why people get into I don't know,
Well,
TM and all kinds of, yeah. That's why people decide to be crazy and change their religions and stuff like that. That's the last frontier that's left for them. If they can't, it's too late to become a deep sea diver in the Marianas Trench or an astronaut. So the only frontiers left are
religious,
silly robes and haircuts, and
yeah. Well, you've got to have
the invisible magic man.
Yeah. I've got all my friends going through a period now where most of me in their mid-30s, and they're all starting taking up longboard skateboarding.
Oh.
Yeah, and I don't get it. And it's really horrible to walk down the street with 5 guys who dress like they're half their age, skating ahead of you. Because I generally feel like the daddy's been dragged to the park.
How do I feel about longboard skateboarding? I'm not sure if I hate it more or less than the little skateboards with the tricks. Because I lived in Williamsburg, Brooklyn until 2 years ago, and that's a super hip neighborhood in Brooklyn.
Okay.
I'm sure it's even. It's the neighborhood you've heard of by this point, and it's synonymous with hipsters and whatever. And I would be in my little spare bedroom writing scripts in the afternoon, and guys would just be hurling. We had for a skateboarder, I guess, a conveniently shaped basement entrance or something that you could do some kind of trick off of or whatever. So I'd be trying to work, and 2-3 in the afternoon, guys who were probably 32 years old, hurling themselves against this thing. First of all, New York skateboarders, not one of them ever lands a trick. Ever. In California, they can do it. New York, they're terrible. They're all terrible. All the places where they gather, and there's this cube in Astor Place, everybody used to skate it. They're all terrible. And this was like, 32, 33-year-old guys, middle of the afternoon, not working, not doing anything but trying to land tricks on skateboards, and it threw me into a whole I'm all for doing whatever makes you happy, but what are you trying to accomplish? Why are you doing this right now? What's going to happen if you nail it? Where are you going to use that? Is that going to get you laid? Is that going to get you a paycheck? You're never going to go pro.
No.
And you've just spent a lot of time learning how to master something completely useless. So
there's no CV, there's no curriculum vitae that has that as an important part of your resume. There's going to be and he can do an ollie, wicked, well done here. He's going to be corporate leader.
Ollie.
I know a word.
Grindy, and they have names like that. They have these really infantile names that there's clearly a 5-year-old guru that they go to name these things.
If you go to the South Bank by the Thames, where they have the National Film Gallery and the London Eye and things like that, because of the way they built that building, it's very 70s urban blocky, but there's a place where the skateboarders all hang out, because actually that just has become a place where they can do their little tricks. And a few days ago I was walking by, and again, everyone's that big, and they're all wearing baseball caps and wearing Nirvana t-shirts, even though I don't think they understand why they're wearing Nirvana t-shirts. And there's one guy, just one guy, who was double the size of them, obviously in his late 30s, maybe in his 40s, and it was like the worst episode of Jump Street. Some guy in grey shades.
The worst undercover hair.
As if he was there to kind of, break a drugs ring or something like that. And I've never seen a man so awkwardly trying to fit in. And that boggles my mind, because that's the other. A mate of mine has this thing about, he hates walking down the street and seeing teenagers wearing bands that they have no cultural grasp of. And I say, be careful, because people still listen to the Beatles, and they have their time.
No, music's music. Just because you didn't weep when Kurt killed himself because you weren't alive yet doesn't mean you can't appreciate them.
2 down, 1 to go. Okay, wicked. The final part of this interview involves us talking about things such as toys. Toys came up, and then we moved on to talking about musicals and mythology. And if you're a Venture Brothers fan, yes, there's a bit of talk about the Venture Brothers mythology, so that's quite interesting. And also, because of the lateness of the release of this interview, there are now some quite out-of-date references to the Comic-Con and what might be coming up. Anyone who's got half a brain will already be watching the From the Cradle to the Grave, which is awesome, and you should watch it now by hook or by crook. Anyway, sorry, where was I? Yes, part 3 with Jackson Publick.
Because that's the other thing as well, is about the whole marketing now, because I have more Ghostbusters stuff now in my collection than I did when I was like 10.
Everybody I know is like you.
Yeah.
And I was like you. Maybe I'm not as much like that as my peers and other people who love the same things as I do, as much as I do, because I worked in a comic book shop when I was a teenager through college. So I had everything and I collected everything at that time, and then just kind of got sick of it after a while. And like now I just have too many DVDs and too many books.
Yeah.
And now that I have a show that like other geeks like, I get sent free things like I don't know what to do with now, because like now I'm responsible for paying for the rooms that I live in.
Yeah.
You know? And so the more crap I have, the more rooms I need, and it becomes a whole like I can't live with these things anymore. You know?
And yeah, it's hard to get rid of the stuff.
It is. I've gotten less precious. Maybe I'm getting more cynical. This is what I'm trying to
weed out.
Trying to get back to the thing where maybe a statue of the thing is
maybe
really precious to me again. I don't know. It's either that or I have a kid, right? I should really go buy some thing busts.
Yeah, but at least with a kid though, you've got a stockpile of toys that will probably get them up until the early teens.
Yeah.
Because everything old is new again, and eventually, what will be uncool while he's 10 will be cool while he's 15, and it'll work out fine.
Yeah, I can buy him all the stuff that's too dangerous for children now. We had
I went into the
Shogun Warrior that shoots its fist.
Yeah. And it'd be like, it was big in the 80s, and it would be big again in about another 5 years, but I guess. Because I saw some Venture Brother dolls, Forbidden Planet.
Yeah.
And what surprised me was how kind of classic G.I. Joe they were made. The kind of the proper. Did someone approach you to make them like that? Because I would imagine they might have gone the whole McFarlane way, to make them a bit more.
We didn't. How did that? I think we had talked loudly enough about wanting that.
Yeah.
That when somebody finally came around who, gave enough of a crap about our show and thought they could make some toys or make some money off some toys, it was the right people who went, yeah, we want to do that kind of stupid. We love the stupid old stuff too. We had flirted with maybe a couple of other toy companies earlier on, but like nothing ever came of it. And I'm sure those would have been more, whatever the style of action figure is now.
But it must be good to know that these toys are getting made for people to enjoy and not to get out of the box and keep in there, because that's the.
I mean, I'm sure there's. I think a lot of our younger fans who are on their own trip with toys and everything else, and maybe they're the sort of post Japanese toys and the vinyl, designer vinyl and stuff like that. They're kind of post that world. I think a lot of them may be really upset with our decision to go with awkward on purpose, retro 70s, Mego style superhero figures with cloth outfits and rubber heads.
Because I just thought it was.
For anybody my age, they went, I had those too. I remember that, and
and it does seem to tie into that world a little bit better as well. To have that, because
the idea is kind of this could have existed. Like our characters could have owned these when they were kids,
Because I get the impression that again, the reality of the show within the show is that people would have the Venture Brothers lunchboxes and the action figures and things like that.
I mean, there is an episode where Billy Quizboy has a Rusty Venture lunchbox.
Yeah,
and so the people who make our toys are making that lunchbox.
Oh, really?
Yeah, as a sort of special collector case for a Rusty Venture action figure and a Jonas Venture action. I think they're releasing that at Comic-Con. I guess I'll see when I get back.
At the San Diego one,
Yeah.
So have you got anything planned for Comic-Con this year? Or are you just
Yes.
Yeah.
We're going. We're premiering. We're making a little special right now before we make season 5. It's a musical special, and we're supposed to finish it. It's only 11 minutes. We're supposed to finish it in time for Comic-Con, but if we don't, we'll just be showing a music video that Hank's band made.
Okay. Is this the same band that had Jacket from the
Yes, it is the full-length radio edit of Jacket and accompanying music video.
Nice. If all else, you can just do it live and turn it into a live show.
I could. Well, it's weird. Well, Doc plays all the music. Doc is a musician, Doc Hammer, and he also plays Dermot. So when we make the song, Doc did all of it just on the computer, and he played the bass and stuff. So if we did it live, it's weird because Hank is the bassist of the band, but I'm the voice of Hank, so I don't know how we'd present
How do you split that?
Yeah. I can't just stand by a microphone and yell jacket every 4 words.
So is there a frustration frustration musician in you trying to...
Yes, absolutely.
Because it seems like that.
Yeah.
In a good way.
I cannot play any instrument. I gotta learn before I'm 40. I gotta at least start learning an instrument before I turn 40.
Yeah, I went through that period, and you know what?
And Doc is a real musician. Doc's been a musician since he was 15 or something. He's had several bands. He's got a band now that's, it's him, really, until they play out, and then it's a band.
So is this 11-minute thing going to be Rusty the Musical? Is it that?
No.
Because I was wondering when that...
Mike Lazar, the head of Adult Swim, tried to talk us into that. And I was like, well, maybe, but...
Because it can't be worse than Turn Off the Dark. It can't be, can it?
I felt like that was getting into that could potentially put us into a sort of show-tuney, a little too into ourselves kind of vein, and it was, and also because it's, I don't know, it's a little more, it's been done, it's a little more corny, it's a little more.
Well, it does seem that most days
South Park will do it better than we ever will, and Seth MacFarlane will do it
all the time.
20 times. So why would we do it? And also, it would just be revisiting a joke and an idea that we hit already. So that's a little harder. Even though Jacket is that, we're doing just a different approach to it. Really, we just wanted to make a music video to put as a special feature on the DVD, and nobody would pay for it unless we made something long enough to air.
Provided it's canon, everyone will be fine with it.
Yeah,
that's the important thing. So where does it fit in? Is it coming in after Series 3? Is it one of those? It's people would do.
Yeah, we got to watch that too, because there are actually, oddly enough, we somehow squeezed a couple of little teases or revelations in there, and now we have to figure out where it fits into continuity.
Oh right, that was the other question I was going to ask.
Because it definitely takes place after the prom.
Yeah,
and sometime either during or before this next. Season that we're doing, because I think during.
I was going to bring up before. When people ask me about what Venture Brothers is about, there are the easy way and there's the hard way. The easy way is a cartoon about 2 boy adventurers and the family people around them, and there's the complicated one where you have a giant mythology. And the only way I can explain it is I describe it, and I hope it's not derogatory, but it's like the Lost of animation. It's because Lost, if you forget about all the things Lost did wrong about the mythology in terms of the secrets and how they revealed that, the mythology, the flashbacks, the way they kind of made the characters weave in and out, so it was really good. And I think that's Venture Brothers does it better, but because it doesn't have the expectation of having to answer things and explain itself all the time. And I think because the episode where you first find out about the orb, and then it looks like the bodyguard kills. Patchy with names, but the original.
Sando killed Colonel Lloyd Venture.
But then that gets retrofitted to be he just destroys the orb.
So
is that stuff kind of things where you potentially leave a grey area? Because without going into spoilers, it's I don't believe Molotov is dead at the end of that scene, whether it is or whatever. But do you go, well, if we leave it like that, then we can pull it back eventually if we have to tell that story? Or because it seems amazingly well planned. I'm guessing it's probably not.
That's sleight of hand. I mean, and that's. We're just doing what all genre stuff always did, which even when you see the guy blow up, there's always a secret hatch or whatever. So that's how whenever anybody gets a little too annoyed that we bring somebody back who was supposed to be dead or whatever, I go, well, try to remember we're a comedy show making fun of. Serials and James Bond and stuff like that. When this happened all the time, it's just the genre gag, and and we usually explain it in a reasonable way. Generally I'll leave it open, and like I was saying about the Han Solo clearly having a past. We wrote a lot of the early ones like that on purpose, not necessarily knowing that we would exploit those doorways that we built later, but just always implying a history between characters, implying an important event that they won't talk about or whatever, just as a means of creating a mysterious character or an interesting character. And then, it's time to write another season. You go, hey, why don't we show, who Molotov's dad was, who she says Brock killed, whatever. We haven't done that yet.
No.
And I don't know if we ever will, but that's one that's hanging there if we want it. That was supposedly the thing. She killed his partner, and he killed her dad. And I actually screwed that one up because I was talking about Hunter at the time. I already had him.
Okay,
I had him in my head, even though I wouldn't get to touch him until another year later. And he was a different character. He wasn't quite Hunter yet, but he was this guy, this mentor guy, because I knew I wanted to do a flashback where you see Brock training and stuff like that. And that's who would have gotten killed. And I think in my original way too long script, he was supposed to be dead. That's actually one of the lines that got cut out even after animation, I think, was when Brock's being briefed about having to go after Hunter, who is, quit the OSI and gone underground or whatever. One of the lines more clearly explained, no, he's supposed to be dead. And that's what you were meant to think.
Yeah.
So I messed that one up for myself.
Oh, okay. Because I got to recently watch everything in order.
It's both. So some of these things, we do know, we definitely do lay little traps for later on purpose. When on the rare occasion that we kind of know where we're going, we know there are things we want to see. We're working on stuff like that now. There's some revelations we want to make about the characters, and we know we got to hint at it in some of these early ones. But a lot of them are just, doors we leave open, or happy accidents, or fake detail that can be embellished on later.
Do you have an end game in mind? If it all ended, tomorrow, if someone was going to go,
sort of.
Yeah,
I'm sure it'll change. I've had the last scene of the series in my head for a long time.
It's not with the
which also would use a song, but who knows if we'll ever make it. I'm sure when we get there, we'll do something very different.
Yeah, because I'll be honest. The question I often think when I watch the show is, what would happen if the Monarch killed Dr. Venture? And it's that, or if because then what's the Monarch got? It's what if you take away. Yeah. But obviously that's not something.
He'd be pretty empty for a while. I'm sure he'd work it out. But there's more than a little Spanish Inquisition in the Monarch, for sure.
Yes, he's easily my favourite character.
He's probably my favourite.
Yeah,
he's definitely the favourite to act.
And it just also seems like he gets the most fun stuff to do.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can skew that, I can imagine, when you're writing it. Because the Butter Glider song sequence, which is just, a whole new world kind of thing. And there must have been a certain amount of satisfaction just to get that out of the system and just write that.
Yeah. Because we do for the fans, we do online Christmas songs every year.
Yeah.
In character. And so the Monarchs, got a history of just horrible singing. But, never on TV. So.
Well, things could change.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, you'll be writing the next Book of Mormon.
That would be. I gotta see that. I gotta find a way to get tickets for that.
No, it's booked out.
I did see Spider-Man though.
Did you?
Yeah, before they retuned it.
Is it exactly like what?
Hodgman took me to it.
Oh, really?
He was, I guess, because he's in the TED conference crowd or whatever, and I think they were doing a special showing for them, and he, his wife.
So, as a Spider-Man fan,
I went as Hodgman's date to Spider-Man, and David Byrne was in our row. That was kind of interesting, and it was, it's problems.
Could he hide his disappointment below the moustache? Was it one of those things that he could mutter and no one would see it? Because it's one of those ideas where it just seems like, on paper, it's a great idea. Let's get all that crowd in to see a musical.
You would think. The problem is superheroes ultimately are really cheesy, and so are Broadway musicals. And so when you put them together, you're just going to get super gay. It's I don't mean to misuse that word, but I can't get over that's how adolescents talk. You always go, oh, that's so gay. Mm-hmm. They do it on South Park all the time. I can't break that habit. I'm trying to learn because I have gay friends.
And on that note, we leave it. I hope you enjoyed the last 40 odd minutes in the company of Jackson Publick. If you want to hear more of us chatting about the actual Venture Brothers, those parts of the interview will be flung up on our geeknightout.net website, where you can listen to it over the course of the next few days. There'll be one every few days or so, and they're actually quite interesting. Obviously, you don't want to talk old ground a lot with somebody who's probably done that question a load of times, so hopefully you'll enjoy what we got out of that. Other than that, yes, our live show's back October 2nd. If you live in London, come along. If you don't, then pine for the show from afar. Thank you very much for listening in, and take care, and remember, don't have nightmares, just have great looking hair.